Hello everyone, Coin Collector here, and today we're going to be having a look at the Elizabethan Sixpence. Let's start by working our way around the lettering on the obverse side. So you can see Elizabeth, for Elizabeth obviously, followed by the letters D and then G, which in Latin stands for Deus Gratia, and then you translate that by the grace of God. ANG, England. FR for France, because at this point we still claim to be Queens of France. ET for and, et. HIB, Hib, I know that one's slightly warm, but it's there, trust me, for Ireland. And then Regina for obviously Queen. Then you notice we have a crown, which is slightly worn in the top, basically on the top of the coin. This is a mint mark for the Tower of London, but it also gives you a specific year that it was minted in 1569, which is quite handy to know, because Elizabeth I reigned from 1558 until 1603, so that's quite a wide period to look at. We could actually narrow it down even further, the date, without knowing the mint mark, because this is actually the 4th issue of Queen Elizabeth. There were 5 different issues. Obviously they get later on in her reign. This one, if you have a look closely at the crown, and then the rose and the dress, if you count the number of, for instance, jewels, it will differ depending on the issue. So this one is 4th issue. As you can see, it's got the rose here. The way to tell the difference between a groat, by the way, which is like this coin, and this one, which is a sixpence, is that sixpences always have the rose to the right-hand side of the queen. Groats don't. I'll do a video on the groat at some point later. But this one is 4th issue, sixpence, it's got the rose there, obviously 4th issue. So if we have a look at the reverse side now, obviously you've got the standard cross that's been on British coinage for hundreds of years by this point. Once again you've got the crown to help you narrow down the date that it was minted in. And then we go around again. So posuit, so that's Latin, so you know, I have made, in other words. DV for Deus, God. Audivitorem, helper, meum, my. So I have made God my helper. Not only does this have the religious aspect, which at the time was very important, it shows that obviously God is on the Queen or King's side, because this is a very common phrase which features on quite a lot of the kings and queens of England's coins. Then inside the inner circle, we have an exact date, obviously, so 1569, just to confirm it again. However, if that was worn out, we would be able to tell that from the crown. So if you have a look, you've got the coat of arms of England, fleur-de-lis on this side, and then the 3 lions. Fortunately, the 3 lions are quite worn, but you can clearly see that they're meant to be there. Oops. The diameter of the coin is 26mm, and it weighs about, well, it should weigh about 3 grams. This one is about 2.93 grams. It has been clipped, if you notice. It's actually remarkably round, which is quite rare for coins of this age, but it has been worn away, obviously, as the letters show. But the fact it hasn't been clipped is quite good, which is why I wanted this one in particular. The condition it's in is obviously fine. It's not very fine due to the wearing of the letters. What very fine would look like, just so you're aware, is you see the letters AD and the little line beneath them. That tiny section, as it were, is very fine. However, the rest of the coin has not been so fortunate. So the coin is sterling silver, so 92.5% silver in fineness. This is actually a lot better than her father's, Henry VIII's silver coins, which were actually debased substantially during his reign. And Elizabeth I actually made it a priority to keep her coinage pure, and as she wasn't doing many outlandish projects or wars, such as Henry VIII, it was quite easy to do. In sixpence at the time was a fair amount of money. You would notice if you lost this coin, and although, however, it would have been regularly traded, I would say, by merchants and commoners. However, the value, if you try to take it forward into the current day, is obviously very difficult. According to the Bank of England's inflation calculator, it would be worth about £30. However, back then it was a more feudal society, so they were much more reliant on the price of food, and that depended mainly on the harvest and whether the weather was good that year or not, and depending on how much they had. So it's hard to give an exact monetary value for this coin, obviously, today. However, it would be a fair amount of money, considering back then I think an average labourer's wage per week would only be 10 pence or something. It depends on the job, obviously. But this is a fairly large denomination coin. So just so you're aware, a sixpence is half a shilling. So there's 12 pence in a shilling. So a shilling would have weighed about 6 grams. And they're much bigger coins. And I will do a video on one of them later as well. So thank you very much for watching. We've got a lot more subscribers recently. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to get notifications. And leave any comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave any comments down below.